Sports Entertainment is recorded live at twitch.tv/baldyandthebeast. Join us every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time and watch the matches right along with us.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Bront.
I'm Willem.
And we are Baldy and the Beast. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Sports Entertainment. Yeah, I remember the gimmick.
It's been a hell of a day
today. I had a smoke. Give me a break.
Oh boy, I finished eating some Wendy's, so my body is like not prepared to talk. Today we are going to be watching Shinjiro Otani versus Eddie Guerrero from Starrcade 1995.
Yup.
I know nothing about this match. I'm going to let Bronk go ahead and tell us about what the hell's going on with this pay-per-view, because you did a little bit of pre-watching on this one, and while you're doing that, I'm going to eat me a couple nugs.
So this happened, obviously, like you said, Starrcade, December 27th of 1995 at the Nashville Municipal Auditorium in, obviously, Nashville, Tennessee. There were 8,200 people in attendance. And so I really couldn't find a whole lot of storyline available for this match, but we'll get into what does exist in a minute. But I wanted to try something new with this episode. Okay. We all know and love Eddie Guerrero, but I personally have never been introduced to Shinjiro Otani before.
Okay.
So I did a quick deep dive, and instead of going into the backstory of the match, today we're going to go into the backstory of Shinjiro Otani and just see if this kind of thing will work.
Okay.
So Otani's parents were not supportive of his dream to be a pro wrestler. So he left the house with 60,000 yen. Now for American fans, people not from Japan, 60,000 might sound like a lot of money. It is not a lot of money.
It's about $600 in today's dollars, but in the 90s it might have been worth a little bit more because there was an economic boom for Japan in the 80s, but it did kind of fall off by the 90s, so it might actually be still pretty equivalent to $600.
Yeah, but he had spent 24,000 of his 60,000 on they call it a small tatami-like dwelling. Now, yeah. I looked it up. Tatami are like mats. So I don't know if it was literally just like 4 mats put together or some kind of tent with a mat. I'm not really sure, but he was considered homeless.
Okay.
But he started training with Animal Higuchi, and Animal helped Otani get on his feet, helped him get like a more stable living, helped him get a job. Yeah. And he debuted in 1992. But by 95, he was already in the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title scene.
Oh, damn.
Obviously, he's on Starrcade.
Yeah.
So, like, this dude took to the business quick.
Oh, yeah. That's real fucking quick. And
yeah,
good on Animal Higuchi for picking him up, because something that's not quite well known is that the homeless population in Japan are treated very poorly. And I don't mean like obviously homeless anywhere are treated like kind of poorly because they're homeless, but homeless in Japan are particularly treated poorly because they don't usually try to find any sort of assistance. They're not beggars or anything like that, and generally like there's a lot of really bad stuff that happens to homeless people, and there are a lot of things that just kind of get swept under the rug because, well, it's a homeless person, who gives a shit.
Well, yeah. Be nice to your local homeless person.
Yeah. Who you don't know what they've been through.
Yeah. This message brought to you proudly by Baldy and the Beast. I will stand behind that all day.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he was also the first WCW Cruiserweight champion. He defeated Wild Pegasus in the tourney final in March of '96, and shortly after this. So that would be like within or around the 4-year mark. He's already in a different country, in a different promotion, winning their title, their first title. So that's a big deal. And this was the start of his big push. Another accolade he has, he was the half of the first ever IWGP Junior Tag Champs.
Okay.
And then kind of just getting closer to the year 2000, the New Japan booker was Choshu, and he wanted to push Kensuke Sasaki, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Sasaki is a pretty big name.
Yep.
But what he did is he turned all the juniors essentially into jobbers for the heavyweights.
Oh, that sucks.
Which that happens more than it should too.
That happens more than it should, but they kind of rectified it a little bit in recent years because the juniors are essentially treated on the same level as the standard heavyweights.
As they should be. And their juniors division is awesome.
Yep.
But in the year 2000, Otani left. He bulked up, came back as a heavyweight, and then he was given a world title match versus Sasaki. He did end up losing. And then shortly after that, he moved on to 0-1, which is a promotion he created with Shinya Hashimoto.
Okay.
And then when Hashimoto died in the year 2004, Otani became the star of the promotion.
Okay.
And from this point on, and even before this, he won a litany of titles in both 0-1 and the wider wrestling world. He had feuds and matches with all-time greats like Liger, El Samurai, obviously Eddie Guerrero, and Sasaki. And then he won 0-1's annual round-robin tournament 3 times. So he is a very well-decorated wrestler. I really learned a lot. I didn't know. I'm kind of glad he had kind of a cool story.
Yeah. And kind of a thing with 0-1 is that I don't know if it's 0-1 or Wrestle 1, but there's one of those promotions in Japan is kind of seen as a like, I don't want to say like a third to something where you'd see like New Japan and All Japan, but it's definitely seen as one of the more popular of the Japanese wrestling promotions because unlike American wrestling where it's WWE and then everything else, there's much more versatility and a lot more choice that you can choose in your top tier Japanese wrestling,
which is something I would like. He left a promotion to create his own. I was thinking about this when I was typing this up. How cool would it have been if in like 2009 Cena was like, fuck this noise, I'm gonna go start my own promotion. That just doesn't happen here.
Well, I feel like this is less of a case of Cena going and starting his promotion, more somebody like Rey Mysterio went and started his own promotion.
I know. But I'm not saying he was on Cena's level, but
I understand your point.
But anyways, back to the pay-per-view itself. What was happening, and I'll kind of get into this as we go down the card, is they were having a best of 7 between New Japan and WCW on the night. So the first 7 matches that we'll see, excluding the dark matches, were a part of this little tournament best of 7 thing they had going on. And I'll kind of try to keep score as I go down. We'll see if I can count. So let's get into the card. So we opened up the dark match. We had 2. DDP versus Dave Sullivan. Don't know who Dave Sullivan is, which is probably why he lost to DDP.
At this time, it was... so this is a 95 WCW. This was probably right around the time that DDP was training, because he had done some minor wrestling things before this, because I think I remember he was in one entrance from like WrestleMania 3 where he like drove a Cadillac down to the ring with the Diamond Dolls or whatever. Yep. And then after that, he didn't really do a whole lot. He just kind of managed a strip club, but then he managed a club of some sort. So it was right around this time that he actually started training. So this was probably one of his like very early matches that you would see.
And then next we have the American males, beating the Blue Buds, Lord Steven Regal and Earl Robert Eaton, Robbie Eaton.
Yeah.
And those are your 2 dark matches. And then we get into the tournament, the best of 7, if you would. And just so you know, every match, the New Japan competitor is accompanied by Sonny Ono. Yeah, every single one.
I don't know if I like that.
So it would have been nice if they would have had a couple different managers.
Yeah.
But the top match, Jushin Thunder Liger defeated Chris Benoit, which is 1 for New Japan. And then we have Koji Kanemoto defeated Alex Wright. To kind of get 1 for WCW, Lex Luger defeated Masahiro Chono. And then Johnny B. Bad defeated Masa Saito to even it up at 2-all. And then we have Shinjiro Otani versus Eddie Guerrero. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, and then we got the match we're going to be watching tonight.
Yep. Followed by...
I was going to say, don't spoil that finish, because I don't know the finish.
I wasn't going to because I don't know the finish. I know who won, but I don't know how.
Okay.
Randy Savage defeated Hiroshi Tenzan to put them up 3-2. Sting defeated Kensuke Sasaki to make it 3-3.
Oh boy.
I mean, technically the Otani match had already happened at this point, but
so who knows? Who knew who came out on the end of this one?
I mean, I do, but you don't.
I don't. I mean, you can kind of tell based on context.
I can't count. I can't count. So it was 4-2 going into this because you had Jushin and Kanemoto won, and then Luger, Johnny B. Bad, Randy Savage, and Sting won.
Okay, so it doesn't matter at all.
This doesn't matter at all. I work at a bank and I can't count.
Yeah, good job.
So we had the triple threat match, and it looks like the triple threat match leads into who's going to be fighting for the title because Ric Flair beat Lex Luger and Sting by count out. Boo. I didn't see it, but I'm going to boo it anyways.
Boo.
And then Ric Flair defeated champion Randy Savage for in what was the televised main event for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And in the dark main event, One Man Gang. This is such a weird match, and it's so weird to go on after the world title. One Man Gang defeated Kensuke Sasaki for the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship, and Sasaki was the champion going into the match. So we had Sasaki and Ric Flair pulling double duty tonight. Randy Savage pulled double duty tonight. Lex Luger pulled double duty tonight.
Macho Man pulled double duty.
Yeah.
that like the title change after the show, that feels very WCW actually, because like, why not air it? It's literally like you're on the show.
Exactly.
Why not air the title change?
Put it earlier in the night.
Right. For real. What the shit?
Yeah, because I don't get it. Because Sasaki lost both matches anyways.
Right.
So who gives a shit if he lost his match before his second match? Like, whatever. We're going to get too far into this because it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But on that note, are you ready to get into the match, Willem? Because that went a little long.
I am. Let me adjust my volume on my headset because I turned it down when I went to go mess with my ear cuff. If you're looking for this on the network, it is the, 7th, 8th, something flag on the freaking card. If you're looking at it just on the timeline, this match starts at 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 1 second.
I hate that so much. Why couldn't they have just done 1 hour, 3 minutes?
Well, because then we wouldn't have this sweet like silhouette shot of Jimmy Hart and Lex Luger, flexing for the camera.
That is a sweet shot, but my OCD would really, really like that to be at 0-0.
Anyway, we're going to let everybody go ahead and get into the match. Like I said, this is at 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 1 second. Going to go ahead and count it down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, click. Oh, no. Oh!
Nice roll through.
Nice roll through. That was real fucking smooth. Oh, boy. Otani got the win.
Count a little bit.
That was a quick count. That was kind of a quick count.
That's the one thing I don't like about Patrick is you can tell when the finish is.
That's not Neil Patrick.
Who is it?
That's not Nick Patrick. Fucking Neil. That's not Nick Patrick. I don't know who that is though.
Well, mullet guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't Patrick the guy with the mullet?
He was, but that's not Nick Patrick.
Oh well, mullet ref.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I mean, I
withdraw my criticism.
Dude, this was 95. How many people had fucking mullets in 95?
Too many.
That was just the thing. Also, I think Otani crushed his damn nose. Like, that might be why he was bleeding a lot, but, like, his nose looks significantly flatter now than it did at the start of the match. Okay. So, match is over. Let's go into your gimmick, the hot tag. What's your 3 words or less on this match?
It's gonna be 4 words because Shinjiro is fucking awesome. That's my takeaway. Like he well above surprised me. I was thinking at the worst Eddie would carry him to a good match. No, like this dude was very, very good in the ring. And the fact that he'd only been doing this for 3 to 4 years at this point is pretty amazing. He was very good.
Yep. My words, I'm also going to do 4. My way to describe this match is Young Eddie's Wild Ride.
Yup, that fits too.
Yep. All right. So now that we've got the quickest little gimmick we ever did think of out of the way, let's go into our newest, our bestest segment, our most creative segment.
Yeah, my favorite segment, honestly.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, this is Rebooked, the section of the show where we take the match that we just watched and rebook it with modern day wrestlers to see if we can make it just as good, if not better, than the match that we just watched. So, Bront, you had some comments on. You're not going to start. You don't want to start on this one.
I don't know who Eddie is yet. You go.
Okay. So my choices for who's going to be in this match. So after watching this match, I saw a couple of good things. Shinjiro Otani is very like raw and gritty. Like he does a lot of very heelish, like pulling on the face and submissions. He does a lot of like diving drop kicks. He does a lot of like very hard hitting moves. So who is a very gritty wrestler who does a lot of hard hitting moves in a situation like this? And my choice is Katsuyori Shibata.
Okay.
In replacement of Shinjiro Otani. So now we've got Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero, at least at this time, at the time of this match happening, he wasn't quite the Eddie that we know today. He was still fantastic in the ring, but he didn't quite have the promo ability that he had. He didn't quite have the promo ability and the charisma that he had of Eddie Guerrero circa about 10 years later.
Yes.
So, who could replace Eddie in terms of moveset? Who's maybe a little bit more charismatic, maybe a little bit more able-bodied on the mic. So my thinking went to Kenny Omega.
Okay.
So my match to rebook this would be Katsuyori Shibata versus Kenny Omega.
I would watch that match.
That'd be a good fucking match.
Mine, so I was just thinking of somebody that could do the same moves that he did. And all the springboard stuff and the nice drop kick really brought me to one person that I don't think is going to be the most popular pick for this guy, Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
Cody could do all that shit and make it look good.
Yeah.
And then somebody that I think could do all of the Eddie stuff, maybe still has room to grow like Eddie does, is Yo from Roppongi 3K.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good little match.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my pick. Cody and Yo.
I did have kind of a secondary choice instead of Shibata, though, because you know who also does a lot of Otani's moves, but just in a bigger, better way? Okada,
yeah. Man, maybe this dude is like
he's kind of like the prototype for a lot of great modern day wrestlers.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch some more Otani stuff. Maybe I don't know if we'll be able to do it on the channel, but at least personally, he's very, very good.
Yep. Okay, so we are actually running a little short on this episode because this match is.
We haven't given it star ratings yet.
We have not given it star ratings yet. You are very correct. Okay, so out of 5, Bront, give me your star rating, your general blurb on how you're finding this match.
Yeah, I think that this goes about somewhere between 3.5 and 3 3/4 stars. It wasn't perfect, but it was really good. This would be good on any card throughout the, it doesn't matter. This match could be on any card. Good match. Not great, not life-changing, but really, really, really good.
A lot of the stuff was very mid-90s WCW.
Mm-hmm.
And the nice thing about mid-90s WCW is that that's when they were bringing in the cruiserweights, and that's when they were really showing off their potential. So mid-90s WCW can mean a lot of different things, but in this case, it actually means good things for the work rate for the cruiserweights and stuff like that.
Yep.
My rating on the match is going to be, I'm going to go ahead and give it 3.5. It was a little slow there in the middle. there was kind of a point where we made the comment that the gear that Otani was wearing to the ring, he very much looked like a young lion. And there were some points in the match where he was getting whooped on by Eddie like he was that young lion he looks like.
Yeah.
But as the match kind of went on, it definitely picked up pace. You got to see a lot of what Otani can do because he can do a lot. He's got a great springboard. He's got a great drop kick. He's really like brutal in submissions. He's pulling on the face. He's a guy that looks like he doesn't give up in a lot of situations. Again, this is young Eddie, so he's already got the moveset down, but he's got a little bit to work on as far as like crowd work, working on the mic, overall character. He's got the moves. He just doesn't have the personality yet.
He just needs the polish.
Yes.
He is a diamond. He just needs to be polished.
Yep. But aside from that, yeah, like I said, 3.5 stars. It's a very good match. It goes. After a little while, like it starts off very fast and it slows down in the middle. It does the peaks and valleys that you kind of want out of a match like this. So you have, coming in strong, then you get a little bit of room to breathe, and then he kind of goes into the finish real hard. It was very good. I appreciate this match.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm glad we did it. Because I don't know if I ever would have watched Otani otherwise.
Yeah, I wouldn't have watched it otherwise either. So anyway. Do you have, like I said, we're still running a little short. That only gained us a couple minutes on that one. We're still running a little short, and that's mainly just because this match, normally we watch a match that's, between 20, 25, 30 minutes long. This one only ran about 15 minutes. So do you have anything else you want to talk about today before we sign off for the week?
Could hit what happened on AEW last night. I could go get the results real quick if you want to fill some time.
Yeah, go ahead and find some of that stuff so we can talk a little bit about that, because that was a fairly entertaining episode. Also, shout outs to my boy Bront over here for doing the Cyberpunk 2077 streams in his time off. The boy, he had a snow day today because there was 40, 50 inches of fucking snow outside of his house. He couldn't make it to work.
Yep. And that's not an exaggeration. There were not to give away where I live. There was a shitload of snow.
There was a lot of fucking snow. He sent me a video this morning of him diving into the snow and getting stuck.
Yep. And then my girlfriend being super helpful and laughing at me and not helping me out of the snow.
Yep.
What's not pictured in that video, Willem, is the 2 minutes it took me to try and get out of the snow and stand up while she laughed.
Yeah. But yeah, so instead of going into work today, he stayed home and tried to grow the stream a little bit more, getting them Cyberpunk streams in. So I appreciate you for doing that, buddy.
Not a problem. Anytime, dude. I love that. That game is right up my alley.
Yeah.
So we started off last night's AEW with Private Party and Matt Hardy versus the Dark Order with Hangman Page.
Okay.
This is good. It teased some stuff with Dark Order and Hangman. But ultimately what happened, I think you missed this. Because
I missed about the first hour of the show.
But Matt stole the pen, essentially.
Oh.
They hit Private Party, hit Gin and Juice. Matt tagged himself in and got the pin and celebrated like it was his fault. It was great. You can tell they're definitely gonna turn him heel on Private Party. And I'm kind of excited to see this Matt Hardy run, because I think the way it's shaping up is it's going to be Matt Hardy being like, I'm the shit. I'm amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be him humble bragging all the time. Next up was oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, kind of like Big Money Matt and stuff like that, back when he was doing his TNA stuff.
Next up was Cody versus Angelico, which really is continuing this push this TH2 has had over about the last month, since they were able to come back. And I like TH2. Both these guys can do good stuff. And they put Angelico on a level with, they made him seem like a credible threat to Cody, which I really liked. I think the dude has a lot of talent. He's good.
In all the times that I've seen TH2, I've not been super sold on him. I know Jack Evans has a huge history on the indies. I know, same thing with Angelico. But Angelico, he just looks like, every time that I've seen him work, he looks like he's moving in slow motion. And I don't quite know why that is. And also, Jack Evans promo. Like, he's a great worker and he's great at like the flippy shit. But his promo sounds like he's tweaking.
I wonder if the Angelico thing isn't just because he's a really smooth worker, so he kind of makes it all look easier.
It could be,
which almost works at his detriment because he is pretty smooth in the ring.
Yeah.
But after the match, Team Taz came out and they were like, "We're gonna kick Cody's ass." And then who else? A man called Sting comes out, points the baseball bat. Which I kind of dislike this segment because the rest of the team starts to back down. But you know who doesn't back down from Sting? Powerhouse Hobbs. Hobbs started walking towards Sting. Hobbs is going to fucking fight him on stage. And the rest of Team Taz kind of pull him back.
Hobbs is the only smart one out of Team Taz. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? He's a 61-year-old man with a baseball bat. I'm just going to go beat the shit out of him.
I like that because they didn't just let Sting back them down.
Right.
Right? Like, so they made it look like, oh, I'm not scared of you, but also, like, you have a bat and I'm not stupid.
Right.
So, while I didn't like that, I understood it, and it was definitely the best way they probably could have done that. They could have done that a million worse ways.
Oh, yeah.
Miro cut a little promo. Eddie Kingston cut a little promo that didn't last long. And then you had, Lance Archer comes out in the promo. Eddie Kingston said Pac is never coming back, which is a dead giveaway. Pac ends up coming out and they beat up Eddie and Butcher and the Blade. Pac being back is awesome. He's so good.
I love it so much.
Next up, we have the 12-man tag, which was supposed to be a 14-man tag, but Wardlow had family problems, so Wardlow couldn't make it to the show, and so they cut Brandon Cutler for the match.
Okay.
So you had Best Friends, the Varsity Blondes, and Top Flight versus Inner Circle with minus Wardlow. Obviously, MJF gets the win.
Obviously.
Because
he's fucking MJF.
Yeah, that dude is such a fucking star.
Yep.
Thunder Rosa calls out Britt Baker, and then Reba Rebel comes in, and then Britt's able to blindside Rosa, and they do kind of a cool angle here where they get some water and they rub off her face paint. And then Britt, to be the heel asshole she is, looks into the camera and goes, "Does this thing still work, or did your ugly face break it?" And I kind of like that. Like, it was shitty and douchey and not a nice thing to say, but it's good heel heat. Like, because it wasn't too over the top. Next up, we got SCU versus your favorite tag team, The Acclaimed. The Acclaimed's not your favorite tag team. I think they got some potential, though. And they won the match. And they're going to get a tag title match, I think, next week.
Yeah, they advertised that next week there's going to be it's going to be the Young Bucks versus the Acclaimed. I just don't like I don't like the rapping gimmick. I feel like it's very a lot of the jokes are like real hitting below the belt and not great. Their in ring work is very good. They're very solid on that front. I don't like the rapping stuff. Also, I did see today that I can't remember his name, but the guy who actually does the rap, he was one of Lashley's sisters on Raw 2 years ago.
Yep, I saw that too. I think it's Bowens that was.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I kind of like it, and the way they presented it last night, where they only got like one line in, and then Kaz took the mic, and Kaz started rapping. That was great, and that kind of gave me throwbacks to like 04, 05 when Cena was doing his rap gimmick, and the likes of Kurt Angle and The Big Show would get involved in rap battles, and you could tell that it wasn't their forte, but they tried really hard because they wanted to get it over. And I like Kaz's stuff popped me so much because you could tell he was like, my kids said I wouldn't do this, idiots. Watch me be great.
Well, now Kaz is gonna drop that Macho Man Randy Savage rap album.
I'd buy it.
Yeah.
I'd pay at least 50 eddies for that to throw back to Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Diamante and Ivelisse versus Big Swole and Serena Deeb. It was a good little match. Swole and Deeb won, which I don't know if I like too much. But then after the match, they get their heat back when Vicky and Nyla come out And I loved this because like Nyla and Vicky are beating down Serena Deeb, and the Diamante and Ivelisse are on Big Swole, and Vicky is giving the worst like kicks. You can tell she's trying so hard, but like I loved it because she was like doing these little kicks. It was great. You could tell she wasn't the most comfortable with the more physical aspect.
Oh no.
Of it. They do a promo on the best friends. Say they'll be at the holiday bash. They call out Miro because earlier in the night Miro had said they're going to do something with the wedding, so they're pretty much saying they're going to crash that.
Yeah.
And I look forward to that because those two teams together, so that should be a fantastic segment.
Also, that best friends shirt is fucking fire. Like, I love the design. It's so fucking good.
The Christmas one, yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, they had a Jurassic Express little thing play to like hype up the Jurassic Express, and then FTR come out and essentially say, you know, these guys suck. We're serious. They're goofy. That kind of bollocks.
Right.
And they say that they're in FTR's crosshairs, which means we're gonna get a Jurassic Express FTR match, and I'm here for that.
I'm very excited.
And then our main event was they're replaying the Eliminator match.
Yeah.
That they missed, and it was not for the title, but it was a no DQ match between Kenny and Joey Janela, and it was a good match.
Yeah.
Kenny hit a Kataro Crusher onto a chair like to start the match, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, what a cool move. And it wasn't even like the flat part of the chair, it was the brim.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
That match fucking went places, and like there was a part where Kenny was just kind of like I don't want to say he was getting the shit kicked out of him, but he was getting the shit kicked out of him a little bit. And then by the end of the match, he was just kind of like, fuck it. I'm not fucking around anymore. And he just beat the ever-loving piss out of Joey Janela.
Which was kind of cool, because to me that showed that Joey was on a level with Kenny until Kenny kicked it into that level that only Kenny can kick it into.
Until he decided, you know what, I'm done fucking around. And then he just like, didn't fuck around.
But they still portrayed Joey as like, maybe not an equal, but somebody that can hold his own.
Credible.
And I like that. Yeah, credible. What a great word. Yeah. But I texted you last night, and I told you, like, I feel like every segment that AEW does, they are trying to get someone over.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be something that I have to praise. That should just be wrestling. And I love it so much because I can't look at one thing where I'm like, I don't know who was supposed to get over there. You know who's supposed to get over.
Right.
Even like the little 30 second segment they gave the Jurassic Express got them over a little bit.
Right.
Like they don't waste time.
Right. It's kind of like looking at AEW now, like we can see a direct comparison to that in the Shawn Michaels Chris Jericho match that we're watching, because over and over they've had Lance Cade come out and they're trying to get Lance Cade over, and he's not fucking over. Like they're not doing it in a way that gets him over. So granted, that is 12 years ago WWE. So the booking, even though it's shit now, it was even more shit then. It was even more shit then. But yeah, them's my thinky thinks.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I love AEW. Like there's such a refreshing burst into the wrestling world, and I'm hoping the fact that last week they were able to beat Raw in the demo, mind you, not overall, just in like
in the key demo
49. Yeah, but they beat Raw for the first time ever in that key demo. Like that might be enough of a kick in the ass to Vince where maybe they start doing some better things.
Maybe, hopefully.
Start listening to their wrestlers, I hope, but we'll see.
We'll see.
I don't have high hopes until necessary.
Yeah.
Until WWE signs John Silver and makes him the champion on day one, I would not have high hopes.
Johnny Hungy.
I fucking love Johnny Hungy.
I know, he's so fucking good. Anyway,
how did they introduce? God, I'm trying to remember, but they introduced that 6-man match. It was was it the good, the bad, and the hungy? I forget what it was, but it definitely ended in the hungy, and I loved that.
That's
Like,
probably what it was. I wouldn't be surprised because that's, they were cowboys and that's a cowboy thing. That's
I
fucking
love that.
great. I
Yeah,
love
I
that
forget what it
so
was,
much.
but the last one for Johnny was the
The
hungy, and I was
hungy.
like, that's great.
Yeah. Oh man.
Do you got anything else though?
No, I think I got my my share in for what I needed to say. Do you want to go into the outro or do you have anything else?
Be nice to each other.
Yeah.
To steal a gimmick from Brian Zane. Like what you like and don't be a dick.
Yeah. Be fucking cool to each other. That's all it is. Just be cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna start pushing that.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so very much for coming out and seeing us today. If you haven't already, go ahead and check us out in the description down below. Check us out on our Facebook, Twitter, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever we're at. We don't have an Instagram.
Who knows?
We could. If there's some pushback for it, maybe we'll get us an Instagram. We won't post anything there. Who knows?
I'll post there as much as I post on Twitter.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry. Follow Facebook.
Yeah. Like I said, if you haven't already, check us out on the places down below. Give us a like, give us a subscribe if you haven't already. If you don't feel like looking at our beautiful faces here, go ahead and check us out on the audio-only podcast over at Anchor, Spotify, any of the places that we're available. Of that, again, is in the description down below. We will be back this coming Tuesday for the finale of Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho from No Mercy 2008. I think that's the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty positive, yeah.
I think it's a ladder match. We will see you then. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Bye-bye.
Bye.